prior to tariffs, the big beautiful bill was scored, and Besant says, "Hey, you should score it with higher real growth because we're going to do all these things that are promoting real growth, while ignoring immigration as a negative to real growth, while ignoring tariffs as a tax. We're going to grow higher." So, this is really a conservative view. Whatever. I'm not going to get in that. They pick 1.8, 1.9% for 10-year growth. Why? Because that's what trend growth is. That's what our long-term population and productivity increase is. And anything that promotes growth short-term is typically debt financed or austerity, whatever that might be. So they score it, and the scoring shows that it's a mild fiscal impulse in the balance of 2025, which ends in 2 months, and a mild, somewhat stronger fiscal impulse that goes through 2026. And then from then on, it's a fixed fiscal contraction if the law is then not changed, which of course it could be. Those who agree, and I'm one of them for 40 years now, those who agree that the deficit will always grow are going to say nothing stops this train. And of course, the deficit's going to grow in the back half. But the law says it's going to start contracting in 2027. So that's that. Add on 400 billion, add on 1.5% of GDP of tariffs, you got a recession. Unless, miraculously, the recession happens in China, where they absorb all of the tariff cost. Right? If we don't have to pay the cost, it's not going to affect our consumption at all. But if we do have to pay the cost, it's going to affect our consumption. And so, yeah, sure, you could come up with recessionary scenarios, or you could come up with nothing as the fiscal contraction impulse. If you come up with nothing, you're left with the big, beautiful bill, which is mildly expansionary in 2026. If you say corporations suck, so there's 3 places that this can happen. There's the export supply chain, the import supply chain, and the end consumer. Those 3 are who pay. There's nobody else. It can be interesting in the way you aggregate it when you change the currency, but those 3 pay. By the way, the currency means at this stage is more likely that we're paying than the exporters pay. But we're going to pay. Our corporations are going to pay. They're going to try to pass on the tax to consumers, and the consumers are going to take some of it. And so that's going to be a pretty meaningful contractionary impulse starting already, until they are legally struck down and Trump gives up, or legally allowed and Trump gives up because he thinks it's time to end tariffs. But for now, my fiscal impulse is clearly contractionary. There's no way around it. The only thing that would change my view on fiscal is currently yet to be announced industrial deregulation. And that's been a promise. That's been a major promise. They've used some gimmicks around SLR reform for banks, but that's pushing on a string. You need to deregulate. If you're going to deregulate, you need to deregulate the people that are pulling the string. And those are the companies that benefit from deregulation, that build new plants because clean water is forfeited, or don't have to pay as many inspectors, so because we've relaxed what our food supply needs to be, or medicine, or whatever it might be. If we're overregulated, great. That means we save the money without hurting the various people and the environment and the ecosystem and all that regulation is designed to protect. If we're overregulated, great. That's a pure win. And it's been promised. It just hasn't yet been delivered.